Oh no. What's going on here? Welcome back, everybody. So, today we're going to be working on the go-kart again. We're going to attempt to do independent rear suspension. This video is probably going to take me over a month, so this is the beginning. Let's get started. Nope. Too much play. Not really thick enough material. Too small. Not enough to machine, but a decent thickness of material, which would probably work. This is actually for my ball joint press, though, and I only have one piece of this. So, thought about maybe cutting this and rolling it down a little smaller. That would take a lot of work. I think what I'm going to do is I got some flat stock around here. Let's see if I can find that. So this is about the right width that we're going to need. Probably have to be machined. Looks like a little bit. So we're just going to cut a piece off of this and roll it around in our press. So we'll do that real quick. Alright, we're just going to do a rough cut for now, and we'll cut it to size when we get closer. So I'm just going to use this old bearing to start forming this piece. Alright, we're getting close now. This is dangerous. Don't try this at home. Alright, so here's our bearing. So as you can see, we're still ways to go, but we're almost there. So I'll probably have to cut this again. So I'll just keep working it a little bit and come back to you when it's done. So it's all welded together. You can see it's got a little bit of a peak to it, but not bad. And they're press fit, so they'll fit in there nice and tight. And now that they're machined, it's machined to size, they will touch on the inside when it's all pressed in. So I'm gonna press, actually I'm not gonna press these in because I still gotta do some other stuff with this. So let's get to the next one. Alright, so now that we got our bearing cup, our bearings, next thing we're going to do is build a spindle. So I'm going to use this 1/8 inch 2x4 box. It's been sitting outside. I cleaned it up. It had a little rust, so I put some must for rust on the inside. I'll probably do a little more. Already pre-drilled a hole there in the center. So I'm going to plasma cut it out so we can sleeve that in there. And that'll be welded in. It's the same thickness basically as the box, and then we'll be able to put our bearings in there. So that's not going to work obviously like that. We're going to have to cut some angles on either end and figure out how we're going to attach our I.r.s to it. So we'll figure all that as we go. Let's get these holes cut. And there goes the circuit breaker. I'm only running on 110, and I'm surprised I got that far. Let's finish this cut. Almost there. Okay. Guess I'm good. Now we'll just clean it up and make our cup fit in here. Not gonna fit right now, it's a little undersized, that's why I did it. We'll make that fit nice, put a chamfer on everything, and weld them together. Alright, well, I got in a hurry and I went and tacked this without chamfering the edges, but it actually helps me kind of line it up a little flusher, so it fits pretty good. So what I'll do before I weld it is I'll come back through it, my cutoff wheel, and I'll put a groove in between here. Not all the way through probably, but pretty close to the bottom, so I can get a weld down in there, and that'll be adequate, I'm sure. So now I gotta figure out, I'm gonna cut these, put some angles on them, and then we gotta build some sort of tubing to go through this, and I don't know. Now we're getting somewhere. This side's a little longer. I'm gonna trim that side down so they're more even, but kind of see what we're getting. Pretty heavy duty spindle, but it's got to be strong, and I do want to up the horsepower on that thing someday, so might as well build it strong now, and then we'll do the horsepower thing later. You want to make sure you got your suspension dialed first before you can go 100 miles an hour. You don't want to hurt yourself, you know. Alright, so I went ahead and I cut some 1-inch 120 wall, so that inside diameter should be 3/4. So they're pretty close. They might have to be ground a little bit, but now cut some steel blanks 3/4. Went ahead and made a bungs, and those will fit right in there nice and tight. So what we need to do is we need to drill a hole, so we can, probably on both sides, so we can spot weld that in, plug weld that in. And we also need to figure out where we're going to drill our holes to put these all the way through. It's going to give us a lot of strength. So let's go ahead and measure this out. I want an 8-inch spread on my bolt pattern. So we're going to go ahead and go to 4 inches. And this is not crazy measurements here because everything's adjustable, but I want it really close. So we should still be 8 inches right there. Right there, so that's good. And now I want to figure out my distance. I found this little guy, it's got some points that I can mark off of that'll all be the same, so that's what we're going to do because it fits here. So they line up pretty darn close. If they don't line up close, could have an issue with breaking bolts or wearing stuff prematurely by being a little wonky here, and when you're cycling, you're not cycling straight. So obviously this isn't rocket science, but we want to make sure we have it as close as possible. So hopefully these measurements are pretty accurate. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Alright, I'm going to finish machining these, drill these out on my drill press real quick, and weld the bungs in. We'll drill these holes in the drill press also, and get this all in there and weld it all together. Starting to become a mess. So we got those spot welded, just tack welded it on the inside, holding them in place. We'll come back through and we'll weld all this up later, but need to figure out kind of a radius. Cut that, and then we'll take a piece of pipe and we'll cut it in half, and we'll just use a piece of pipe to fit over that radius. I'll throw some welds as far as I can on the insides here and just get those in there, and we'll start welding the rest of it up. Looks like I forgot to press the time lapse when I did the other side, but we're both done now. So we just got to clean this up after it cools down a little bit, grind some of these welds off, make sure our bearings still fit in there. Well, they're pretty dang close to identical. Ready to rock. Now that we got those spindles done, it's going to be time to start taking this bad boy apart. Now that we got that all taken apart, the first thing is we need to make this hub fit in that bearing. It's not that far off. It's some hard steel. It'll be tough to turn. I noticed the other side was cracked, so I'm going to have to fix that too. So I need to chuck it in the vise like this, but obviously that's not going to work. So I have these wheel spacers on it, which I don't want to run anymore. I want to change the wheel pattern on this, the lug pattern. So we'll bolt this to this, so it'll keep it nice and pretty centered there. And I made this a little bushing that'll go, drill bushing that'll go in there. So when we drill our new pattern, that'll be our center hole for our new pattern. That'll change our lug pattern. So we'll press all the old studs out, press new studs in. That'll take care of that. So, and this will help me obviously secure it in the chuck. So, all right, let's get this all fixtured in here and get to work. are so far. And I'm going to show you what we got next. So our bearings, or our shaft is protruding into the second bearing a ways, which is what we wanted. So, I think it's back here somewhere. Yes. So this is a 1.5 OD 250.250 wall, 1-inch ID. It'll have to be machined just a hair to get fit in there. So this will go down in there. This will be our stub axle. We'll have a plate welded to this. And that's where our CD joint will bolt to. And this will get pinned. And I'll show you how I do that too. Alright, this video is getting kind of long, so I think that's going to have to wait till the next one. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends.